In a convivial gathering, people love drinking, eating, and having a good time together. The word convivial means fun-loving, joyful, or cheerful. And the antonym, as you can clearly guess, is gloomy, sad. And it is very apt for the weekend that is coming up. So a very good afternoon to all of you. I am again, yes, hi everyone. Alright, so without further delay, let's start the session. Alright, so the first question that we have is, you are supposed to fill in the blanks with the correct suitable word. Russia's communications regulator said yesterday it would move to dash popular messaging app Telegram next month if it did not hand dash its encryption keys to security services. Okay, so what is it? It says Russia's communication regulator said. So who said it? Communications regulator said it yesterday. It would move to dash popular messaging app. It would move to. Okay, now move to, will it be block? How can it be moved to block? It cannot be block. Okay, so we have two options starting with block. So none of these options will be suitable. Alright, so we will not have option 1, we will not have option, okay, it will move to block popular messaging apps. Okay, oh, I'm so sorry, it can be, one of the options can be block. I will not nullify these options. So Russia's communication regulator said yesterday it would move to block. What is the move? They are talking about making a move to block. It can be block or tip. Okay, now what is the meaning of tip? Tip can be a message sent by someone. Okay, so we are not talking about sending a message to popular messaging apps Telegram next month if it did not hand, so there is a condition, if it did not hand dash its encryption key to security services. If it did not, whenever we talk about handing something, we say hand over. Okay, so even if the first option is confusing, even if we do not understand what the first option means, we have over. Okay, and then we have only comparison between 1 and 3, so you have to find out which one would suit the most, and according to me it should be option 1, right? Blocking popular messaging apps Telegram next month. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Okay, the next question is, Maersk Dash sold its oil and tankers business to France Total and its main family shareholder respectively, and is dashed to divest its rigs and supply service operation this year. Now, we are talking about sold its oil and tankers business. Okay, so we have option of verb. Okay, so either it can be a verb or it has to be a preposition. Now, we are talking about a situation where it has to be either in the present tense or it has to be in the past. It cannot be a preposition next to the word. Okay, so the noun has to be followed by a verb. So let's look at the next statement. Will it be had sold its oil and tankers business to France Total and its main family shareholders respectively? When we talk about an action which is relevant to the present time, then we use present perfect tense. So according to that, it should be option 2. Has and is aiming to divest its ring and supply service operations this year. Yes, so it will be option 2 is the right answer. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Shareholders dash doubtless relieved dash Mr. Zuckerberg's robotic but GAFI-free display. Okay, so shareholders doubtless relieved. Okay, so which one do you think would be the right option over here? It does not make a lot of sense when we just read the... Okay, someone is asking, what is the meaning of rig? Okay, it is a setup. Okay, we are talking about when we say rigs, it is a setup. Let's go back to that question once. Yes, we are talking about the equipments and supply. Okay, so setup, the entire setup, equipments or a device or structure of the entire operation they are planning to supply diverse its rigs and supply. Okay, so it is in technical terms it just means rigs means the devices or the things or the materials. Okay, so this entire setup is the rigs. All right, now let's go back to the question that we were discussing now. Okay, shareholders dash doubtless relieved dash Mark Zuckerberg's robotic but gaffe free display. Okay, I think there is one word or a word missing over here. However, shareholders were relieved. Okay, it should be with what were they relieved? We are talking about being relieved. They were relieved by Mr. Zuckerberg's robotic but gaffe free display. Okay, so the right answer will be 3. Yes, someone pointed it aptly. There is a word missing over here. However, the right answer will be option 3. Okay, because we are talking about relieved. Okay, so someone is relieved by someone's action, so it will be option 3 as the right answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. After 7 years of war and hundreds dash thousands dash deaths, it takes an act of utter barbarism to shock the world out of its indifference. Okay, so we are talking about 7 years of, after 7 years of war and hundreds dash thousands, okay, hundreds of thousands of deaths. Okay, we always use of to talk about like hundreds of thousands. Yes, correct. Option 2 is the right answer. All of you got this right. This was pretty easy, don't you think so? Because hundreds of thousands of, yes, hundreds of thousands of years, we always say. It took man hundreds of thousands of years to evolve. So yes, that is the right answer. So let's move on to the next question. The next question is, accelerating productivity is the latest and dash important piece dash good news on Britain's economy. Okay, so we have latest. It is one of the good news. Okay, so we are talking about latest and dash. So something that has been a good news, it has been latest. And should it be more? No, we will not be using comparative degree. Perfectly important? No, there's nothing called as perfectly important. Okay, so latest and must important? No, must is a compulsion, so we are not talking about compulsion here. We are talking about most important. Yes, so the right answer will be option 1, most important piece of good news on Britain's economy. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the first half. Let's move on to the next half. If you guys do not have any doubts, I will be moving forward. No doubts? Most important, right? Most important. Guys, I don't know how many of you paid attention, but what was the word of the day? And I do not know how many of you are taking down the notes of the words that I have been using, because these are very, very important words. So how many of you heard the word that I said as the word of the day? I gave the synonym, antonym and one example sentence on the word. Yes, if you can point out at the word, that would be nice. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So we have, Sanjay, I just explained the meaning of rigs. I did. And I think there's another one, gaff. What is the meaning of gaff or gaffe? It is a mistake or an embarrassing something that embarrasses you, a mistake that embarrasses you in front of everybody is a gaffe. So gaffe free means something that does not have errors, error free. Convivial, yes, that was the word of the day. So just go through this and let me know if you can tell me the meaning of which word will be the most appropriate or for the first blank that we have there. Okay, so I'll just be reading it with you for your convenience. So it says, change often comes unannounced, and the government's foreign policy moves over the past few months represents an unannounced but profound shift in its thinking about the neighborhood. This could change the course of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policy before the general election next year. The most obvious in this is what is now being called as the reset with China. While the trigger for the dash between the two neighbors was the peaceful resolution of the Doklam standoff and Mr. Modi's meeting with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Okay, before we go to the after that situation, let's understand what does the passage means. Okay, so the first word that, I don't know how many of you know this word, but the first word that we have is profound. Very important and very commonly used word. Okay, profound, yes. So what is the meaning of profound? It means with great intensity is the meaning of the word profound. Okay, so something that has a lot of intensity, something that is extreme. Okay, so profound knowledge, profound shift. Okay, so it talks about great intensity. Okay, shift in thinking about the neighborhood. Okay, so it is talking about a welcoming change that has come with Prime Minister Narendra Modi becoming the elected Prime Minister of India. So it is talking about one of the standoffs that we had with China, the Doklam standoff, and we have taken a peaceful resolution towards it. That's what it talks about. The whole passage is about. Very nice passage. Okay, so it says this could change the course of. Okay, so while the trigger for the dash between the two neighbors was the peaceful resolution of. Okay, so we are talking about. Here we are talking about certain thing that was a peaceful resolution. Okay, so what is the meaning of embezzlement? It means theft. Okay, it can mean theft. Theft usually happen in these. Embezzlement is a misappropriate use of fund that has been allocated to someone, and someone is using it. Let's say the CFO of the company, the chief financial officer, has been allocated a certain fund, and he embezzles certain amount from that money. That means he uses it for his own reason, taking it as his belonging. So that is a theft. Okay, very important word, embezzlement. Okay, the next word that we have is rapprochement. Rapprochement means an establishment. Okay, what is the meaning of increment? Increment, as you know, anything that starts with incre, INCRE, usually has to do with an increase. Okay, so it is an increase or addition. Okay, what is the meaning of decrement? As you can see, decree and increase, so these are the opposites. So this means, if this means an increase, it means reduction. Okay, so we are not talking about theft, we are not talking about an increase between the two neighbors, we are not talking about a reduction, we are talking about an establishment. So the right answer will be option 2, rapprochement. Did you get it, guys? The right answer will be option 2, rapprochement, which is an establishment. Okay, so we are talking about an establishment. Okay, what is the meaning of the word trigger? How many of you did not understand the text? Was it, I don't think this is, yes, it is a little, I think the level is good. Okay, it is not very tough, it is not very easy, it is not very simple. Okay, so Trigger, yes, is the starting point of something. Thank you guys. Thank you Vidya. Thank you Karan. Very nice. Okay, let's move on now. So we are talking about while the trigger for the establishment, okay, so while the start for the establishment between the two neighbors was the peaceful resolution. So we had a peaceful resolution of the Doklam standoff between our Prime Minister and Chinese President last year. The dash of the easing of tensions is being seen in New Delhi's public postures this year. Okay, so we are talking about now this, because of this peaceful resolution, it is very evident in Delhi's public posture. Okay, so we are talking about public posture as in the way Delhi's public posture as in the way it behaves in the public. Okay, so the dash of easing of tension is being, okay, so now what are we talking about? What are the options? Let's look at the option 2. So we have options like prestigious, disregard, outcome, shelved. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word prestigious? Prestigious means something that inspires you to respect someone, right? So inspiring respect is prestigious. Disregard, the meaning of disregard is no regards to something. So disregard is just pay no attention. Okay, and shelf, what is the meaning of the word shelf? Okay, you understand the meaning of the word shelf, right? So shelf and shelved, okay, so something that you place it in the right place is shelved. Okay, so prestigious is inspiring respect, disregard is pay no attention. Shelved, outcome, you know what is the meaning of outcome. Outcome is the conclusion or the result. And finally we have shelved, that means place in the right position. So what do you think is the right answer? The outcome of the easing of tension. So we are talking about the result of the easing of tension. Okay, so the right answer will be option 3, outcome. Okay, let's move on to the next one. To dash with, the government has taken care not to respond with any heat to reports of the Chinese build-up at Doklam. Okay, so here we are talking about how it has eased up the tension. So we are talking about the first initiative that the government has taken up in the Doklam standoff. Okay, so what is the first initiative? So we are talking about the dash. Okay, to dash with. Okay, we usually use the phrase to begin with. Okay, it is a phrase to begin with. Okay, so it will be the right option will be option 4. This one was pretty simple. To begin with, the government has taken care not to respond with any heat to the reports of the Chinese build-up at Doklam. The next one. Construction by the People's Liberation Army of new bases, bunkers and helipads, as well as its troops staying in the erstwhile. What is the meaning of the word erstwhile? It means former or old. Okay, something that was in the past. So former, instead of saying former Prime Minister or former President, we can also say erstwhile Prime Minister or erstwhile President. Yes. Okay. So construction by the People's Liberation Army of new bases, bunkers and helipads, as well as its troops staying in the erstwhile grazing grounds. Okay, there through the winter is far from normal activity. Okay, so we are talking about this is not normal at all. What they are doing, bringing their bunkers, bringing their helipads and everything, and establishing a ground over there is not a normal activity. Keeping its responses cool, New Delhi has been repeating that Doklam standoff point is untouched and Chinese construction on their side of the boundary is not a threat to India. Okay, so in spite of all these agitations, in spite of all these build-ups that has been happening, we are seeing it in the report, but the government has taken this step of being calm and peaceful even at the time of such pressure, and is denying anything that the Chinese has that is a threat to our nation. Okay, so that is what is the meaning. Let's move on to the last option. Last question. The government has also gone to some dash to tone down planned celebration marking the anniversary of Dalai Lama's arrival from Tibet. Okay, so it has toned down. What is the meaning of the word toned down? The phrase toned down means tone down means mellow something down. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the option has gone. The government has also gone to some dash, to some. We use the word to some lengths. Okay, what is the meaning of going the length? Has also gone to some length, that means has taken certain initiatives to tone down, to mellow down planned celebration marking the anniversary of Dalai Lama's arrival from Tibet. So right answer will be option 2. Alright, it is a phrase that we always use, going the length. So that was about part 2 of the discussion. We discussed a very interesting passage where we are talking about how India has, after the advent of Prime Minister Modi as the elected Prime Minister, we have toned down on our responses. We are not taking things at the spur of the moment and not replying with anger or agitation. Even though the Chinese have built up, have gone to some lengths to cause a lot of upheaval in our current political scenario. Okay. Alright. Let's move on to the next set of questions. Oh, there's a lot more. Okay. New Delhi and Beijing have now dash on a dash of high-level visit that are meant to lead up to a summit meeting between the two leaders. They may even meet more than once. Okay, so New Delhi and Beijing have now what is the meaning of the word embarked? Embarked as in begin. Okay, so are we talking about a new beginning? Yes, we are talking about a new beginning. What is the meaning of the word shacked? Okay, in general terms it means move in with someone, as in your lover, move in with someone, but we will not, that definitely does not apply over here, because we are not talking about a romantic relationship between New Delhi and Beijing, and they're not moving in together. Alright, so what is the meaning of downgrade? Downgrade is down. As you can see, the word itself says down. That means reduced to a lower level. Alright, upped, you know the meaning. Okay, so the right answer will be embarked. Okay, so New Delhi and Beijing have now embarked, as in begun, on a dash of high level visits. Okay, so let's see the next question. On a slush, flurry, throw, helm, or none of these. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Okay, so what is the meaning of slush? Slush is nothing but, okay, both of slush and flurry in general, as in the actual meaning of the word, they have to do with ice, okay, melting of ice or falling of ice or snow. But there's nothing called as on a dash off, okay, on a slush off. There is on a flurry off, okay, so that means a downward descent, okay, something that comes through the air, okay. So we are talking about slush is, okay, so it just means melted ice, or okay. Or excessive sentiments as well. Come on. Okay, that is the meaning of the word slush, okay, if we take it figuratively, not literally, okay. Flurry, on the other hand, is be moved in small swirling masses by sudden gusts of wind. Okay, so we usually say swirl for this. Okay, that is the another word for okay, someone is asking me, Anand, you the question that you have asked is slush and flurry a synonym? Okay, now if you take the literal meaning of both the words, like I said, we are not talking about the literal meaning, we are not talking about ice and snow over here, but if you take the literal meaning, they both have to do with snow and ice, okay. Slush is melting of snow or ice, and flurry is when snow falls in a very, with the gust of wind, or it falls, basically it falls on the ground, so that is the flurry, okay. But we are talking about a situation here which is to move down a level, okay, so it comes from top to bottom, so we'll use flurry over here. Have now embarked on a dash of high level visits, okay, so they have on a flurry of high level visits, okay, as in they have come up with a lot, so they are trying to make their visits as frequent as possible, okay. To lead the summit, what is the meaning of hem? Is to stir, okay. The shift has given rise to dash that the two sides are intent on making significant progress in smoothing ties on outstanding issues such as boundary negotiations, and also narrowing the trade deficit as issue discussed during the Chinese Commerce Minister's visit to India recently. Okay, let's go to the next question. So, tampered, taped, mirrored, hopped, which one is the right answer? I think the words that you are getting are pretty easy words, isn't it? Alright, so let's look at the options. What is the meaning of the word tampered? Tampered is to interfere. How do you interfere? You interfere with something for what? In order to damage it. Damage or make unauthorized alterations. Okay, alterations. So the meaning of tampered, I think you all must have heard. Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me? Am I audible to all of you, or am I speaking softly? I'm sorry guys, I have a little cold, so that's why might be, but nobody has complained about my voice not being loud. Okay, just let me know if you guys can hear me or not. It's clear, madam. Okay, thank you, Sony. Okay, yes, I can hear. Loud and clear is what I'm asking you. Of course you can hear me, but can you hear me loud and clear? Please do not tell me there's another technical issue over here. Oh, thank you. Loud and clear. Oh, all right. Okay. So yes, when we are talking about tampering, audible. Okay. So when we are talking about tampering, you must have heard the word tampering. If you can use it in a sentence, that would be great. Tampering with evidence, tampering with something. So tampering means probably make unauthorized changes or alteration. Okay, clear. Karan is giving me a lot of smileys. What's up, Karan? Anyways, okay. Sorry guys. Okay. You understand the meaning of taped, mirrored, hopped. Okay, so let's look at option 7. Let's read it once again. The shift has given rise to dash that the two sides are intent on making significant progress. Okay, so what has the shift sorry. So we are talking about the shift showing us something. Because of the shift, we have ball tampering, EEVM tampering. I do not know what that is. Anyways, okay, Karan, explain please. Anyways, when we are talking about I'm so sorry guys. Yes, when we are talking about tampering, no, we are talking about the shift has given rise to. So the shift has given rise to what? Okay, so the shift has given rise to dash that. Okay, so the shift has shown us something. Okay, so the shift has shown us something. It has not tampered anything. It has not taped anything. It has mirrored. Okay, mirrored that the two sides are intent on making significant progress in smoothing ties on outstanding issues such as boundary negotiations, and also narrowing the trade deficit, as an issue discussed during the Chinese Commerce Minister's visit to India recently. This flexibility, let's move on to the next question. We have spent a lot of time on this one. This flexibility is also dash in the governments dealing in the South Asia region. Okay, this flexibility is also what? In the governments dealing in the South. So we are talking about it is also evident, okay, with something that is seen. Okay, so what is confrontation? The flexibility is also, we are talking about flexibility in is also Are we talking about embarked? No, we are not talking about embarked, not even about tasked. What is the meaning of grueling? Something that is extremely tiring. Okay, so the grueling, I do not want to do my MBA because of the grueling lectures that we have to attend. So grueling just means something that is extremely tiring or something that is extremely exhausting. On the other hand, confrontation, confront someone means okay, let's Sony has asked something. Let me just go back to that. Blank number 7. Okay, the shift has given rise to mirrored that the two sides. Okay, yes, you're right. You are right, Sony. Okay, so it should be mirror, not mirrored. If there was the word mirror, then it would have been apt. You're right. Thank you for pointing it out. Guys, for the 7th option, the answer should be, as you can see, all the options are given in the ED form, that is the V2 form, like Sony has pointed it out, but it should be the V1 form, as in the present form of the verb. Okay, so it should be given rise to mirror that the two. Yes, okay. Now that is clarified, let's move on to the next question. Okay, yes, 2 plus V1. You are right, Sony, you are right. Okay, guys, let's not dwell on that question too long. Let's keep discussing. Yes, there is a mistake, I know, and Sony rightly pointed it out. Okay, so what is the meaning of confrontation? A hostile or an argumentative situation, or a meeting, or even confronting someone, come in front of someone or oppose someone. Okay, not bully. Okay, it's usually a hostile situation. Okay, so we are talking here, we are referring to a situation which is hostile. Okay, so let's look at the options that we have, which I think we are talking about. The flexibility is also confrontation. It is a confrontation in the government's dealing in, so it is very evident how they have dealt with this argument of the Asian region. Despite several appeals, okay, let's move on to the next one. Despite several appeals by the Maldivian opposition and nudges from the US, the Modi government decided not to exert hard power in bringing Maldives President Abdullah Yameen around after he declared a state of emergency in the country. Nor did it engage China in a dash when Mr. Yameen sought Beijing support in this regard. Okay, so even after all this, China in a dash when, nor did it engage China in a dash, in a size. No, we are not talking about in a size. Are we talking about geography? Of course not. In a, are we talking about in a history? No, we are talking about domain. What is the meaning of domain? It means area. Okay, Yes, third is the right answer. Very easy. Let's move on to the next question. Final one. The government remained silent as Mail went a step further and Mail went a step Maldives. Okay, Mail went a step further and held discussion with Pakistan's Army Chief General. Okay, so we are talking about even after we still remain silent when they sought out discussions with or they approached Pakistan's Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa on joint patrolling of its exclusive economic zone, an area of operation in the Indian Ocean considered to be India's what? Considered to be India's will it be marks, results, confusion? No, we are talking about speculation. What is the meaning of speculation? The forming of a theory without firm evidence. Alright, so the right answer will be yes, speculation will be the right answer. Which are, oh my god, Karan, you have... I think most of you are very proficient in writing or speaking Hindi, but not that good at English. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Anyways, alright, so this brings us to the end of the 10 questions. Not very tough, not very easy. It was alright, I think it was okay. Karan just sends smile. Okay, this flexibility is also followed in the other dealings, 8th one. Then how confrontation? Okay, generally we already discussed that, but let's go back to that question. In both. Oh, nice, Karan. Okay, let's go back to the 8th question. This flexibility is also confrontation in the governments. Why not? I mean, I do not understand the is also followed in the other dealings. Is also confrontation in the governments dealing in the South Asian region. Okay, so we are talking about the South Asian region's confrontation that happened. Okay, we are talking about the arguments that were there about the South Asian region. Okay, it has been going on for a long time. So India showed flexibility in that as well. That's what we are referring to here. Generally, if it is clear, can we move on? Yes, it was moderate level. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Next we have ease in the dealing with the other countries also. Yes, but we are talking about generally, you do not understand the statement. It says that this flexibility that it has shown in the confrontation. Okay, so it has shown flexibility in what area? It has shown flexibility in the confrontation, as in the arguments that were happening in the South Asian region. Okay, so it is not talking about the flexibility in arguments. We have not been flexible with argument. It is saying that we have been flexible as in more easygoing, and we have toned down on the way we have these arguments, the confrontations that we have with the South Asian region. Alright, so next, generally, if it is clear, if it is still not clear, I will give it another shot for you. Oh yes, got it, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Okay. Alright, so next section that we have is not my favorite, but I think, I don't know how many of you like it. Parajumbles. Let's go to parajumbles now. Okay, so here is your parajumble. Go through it quickly because this is a very interesting one. Let us just go through it quickly and then we will discuss. Okay, so what do we have here? I think I gave you enough time. Past few games. Okay. So let me read it out for you. Past few games has been Great Britain's. Okay, so we are talking about Olympics. Yes, and how many, we are talking about the medal counts and who has got the highest medal. So past few games has been Great Britain's. It is a way of saying that past few games has been won by the Great Britain. Okay, which has raised, oh I'm sorry, okay, which has raised its tally from the teens. Okay, from the teens. In what is the meaning of from the teens? As in the 19s, 18s. In the 1996 to over 60 total medals in London and Rio. Okay. Okay. So this is about Great Britain. So what has Great Britain done? Okay, very nice, Great Britain. We should give all applaud for Great Britain. Okay. More than 11,000 athletes from 207 National Olympic Committee competed in the games. Okay. 306 sets of medals were awarded in 28 Olympic sports. Okay, so that shows us that is the introductory statement. Please do not be in a rush to conclude, guys. If you look at the passage very carefully, it is talking about the medal count of each country. Okay, where has Great Britain been? Where has China, US, Germany, Russia been, and France? Where are we? Where's US? And things like that. Okay, so but which one is the introductory statement? Okay, so we are talking about awarded in 28 Olympic sports. So definitely, which one is the introductory statement? We are talking about B being the introductory statement. Okay, more than 11,000 athletes from 207 nations. This is how we talk about the entire medal count. Yes. So the first statement will be B. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh, sorry. So we have B as the first statement. Okay, now next line. The US topped the table with more than 100 medals, as it has done in total medals for several games now. Okay, so we are talking about these many medals being distributed and US has topped it. So definitely this is a mandatory pair. We are talking about US topping it. So 2C becomes the second one. Now the US, China, Russia, Germany and France have typically been at the top of the medal table, the most improved nation in the Okay, there's something missing over here. in the dash. Okay, forget about it. Okay, in the were not recognized on the basis of country, athletes marched behind their national flags for the first time in 1908. Okay. Now, first it speaks about US being on top, then it also speaks about US, China, Russia, Germany and France all typically being on the top of the medal table. Okay, so this becomes option, the third line. Okay. Okay. India's ranking was 50th in 2008, 55th in 2012 and finished in the 60s in these games. Oh my god. Okay. The first few modern games. Set the cat among the pigeon. Okay, what is the meaning of the set the cat among the pigeon by? What is the meaning of set the cat among the pigeon? It means say something that is likely to cause trouble, okay? Alright, so that's what happens when you set the cat in the pigeon. Alright, Sony is teaching. Let's listen to his advice. Okay. Why Sony? Answer Sony. Why Sony? I have been missing this whole chat for a long time. Anand, eliminate the sentences that have definite article the. Why Sony? Even I want to ask the question, why Sony? Alright. Till then we can continue. Okay. The classic marathon distance. Okay, set the cat among the pigeon by tweeting that it costs Great Britain 5.5 million for reach medal, implying that India will need to do the same to increase its tally. The classic marathon distance of 26 miles and 365 yards was fixed at the 1908 London Games. To that, the finish line would end up at the Royal Box. Abhinav Bindra, India's lone individual gold medal winner so far. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3 as in B, C, D. Okay. Now, we are talking about, first we spoke about these are the national games. Then we spoke about US being at the top. Then we spoke about US, China, Russia, Germany and France always maintaining on the top. Now we will talk about Great Britain. Okay. So next comes option A, that is the fourth one. Okay. Now then we will talk about, we have spoken about all these countries and now we will talk about India's situation. Where have we been on the table? Have we been on the table or off the table? Fourth, then this will be fifth one. The first few modern games were not organized. Okay, so we have continuation of F as E. So these two are mandatory pairs. So after fifth, we have sixth as option E. And finally, were not organized. Athletes marched behind the national flags for the first time in 1908. Okay, we are still talking about India. Now, what happened? Again, we will still be speaking about India. Now, it is all about India. So, after that, we will be speaking about Abhinav Bindra. And finally, we have sets the cat among the pigeon by tweeting that it costs. Okay, so this is what India will have to do to reach at the top of the table. Done. Alright, so the order goes like this. First, it talks about how many countries participated and what was the medal count and how many medals were given off to different countries. Then it talks about, it starts from the top players to the players who, or to the countries which have always been on the top. Then it talks about the other country which has drastically improved, and finally it talks about where India has been all this while, okay, and what India will have to do to what will India have to do to increase the medal count? Yes. Okay. I did not understand, Sonia. I think I'm missing out something from the conversation. I did not understand what you are asking to eliminate. Okay, and maybe Karan and you can understand what you're talking about, but I seriously did not get it. If yes, when it's already introduced earlier, it cannot be the introducing statements. You are right, Sony, but okay, I did not understand the reference to this. Anyways, so I hope all of you guys, by the way, where are the rest of them? I can only see Karan and I can only see Sony. Rest of you guys, are you there? Okay, so please tell me if you understood this. Parazombie. Jayamuli, that was a very sad joke, Jayamuli. By the way, none of you wished me a belated Happy Teachers Day. What is this? Guys, I know I've been your teacher for a very short while, but I have contributed a bit, don't you think so? Anyways, okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so everybody is here. Alright, so let's move on to the next set of questions that we have. Okay, moving on, guys. Happy Teachers Day, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yes, I have to remind you. Anyways. Alright. Moving on to the next set of questions. So, let's just quickly do this as we already know the order. The order is B, C, D, A, F, E, H, G. Okay. Okay, so which one is the second? Second is option 3. Which one is the last? Is G, that is option 2. Which one is the fifth? Is F, that is option 4. Which one is the first? That is B, option 4. Which one is the third? That is D, option 4 again. Yes, now let's go on to the next one. By the way, how many of you heard the news that section 377 has been decriminalized? And it is a big news and people are celebrating all over India, so please make sure that you remember that. I'm very sure that it will be covered in the current affairs, but just so you know, just an FYI. Alright, going to the question, guys. Moving on to the question. The decision to pick Reserve Bank of India's Deputy Governor Unit Patil as the successor of outgoing Governor Raghuram Rajan is a clearance affirmation of the centre's commitment to ensure policy continuity at the central bank. Okay, so we are talking about how we have to spot the error, by the way. Yes, okay, so we have to spot the error, and it talks about how it is a... That's a great judgment, but delayed one. Yes, I know. Anyways, okay. So the decision to pick Reserve Bank of India as Deputy Governor, the decision to pick Reserve Bank of India's Deputy Governor Unit Patil as a successor. So we are talking about it is a clear affirmation. It is not a clearance. Sorry. It is not a clearance affirmation. It is a clear affirmation. Okay. It cannot be a noun over here. So the error is in which option? Is in the option 3. Clear affirmation. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. The crusade against inflation will continue under RBI Governor's banner, and one expects not to lose sight of other delicate matters such as the growth and spring cleaning of banks to enable them to start lending again. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of the word crusade? Just something that is important and the meaning of the word crusade is a vigorous campaign. Okay, it can be for a campaign for political or social or religious or religion. Okay, so that is the meaning of crusade. Okay, against inflation will continue under RBI's RBI Governor's banner, and one expects not to lose. Okay, now can you tell me what is the meaning of the word? Okay, this is spelling related error where you have been given the wrong spelling. A lot of people, losers, do not know the spelling of losers. We usually used to say this in school. Yes. What is the difference between lose and lose? They are crusader. Okay, it's more than. Okay, guys, let's not get political over here. We are talking about the difference between lose, L-O-S-E, and L-O-O-S-E. Both are homophones and not homographs. And what is the meaning of? Let's understand the meaning of lose. Lose is to make something, when something is tight, you make it loose. So unfasten something. Unfasten something. On the other hand, lose is fall short of. Okay. So the error is in option 2. Yes, lose a tight knot. No, you do not say lose a tight knot. You say loosen a tight knot. Lose an election. Yes, correct. Jayamulli, you're absolutely right. You are killing it. Very nice. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. India signed a short-term route agreement with Bangladesh to allow transport of petroleum goods from Assam to Tripura through Bangladesh after heavy monsoon damaged roads had made the transportation between the two states difficult. Okay. Let's see. Let's look at the first option. Do we have any error? India signed a short-term route agreement with Bangladesh. No error, so this is absolutely right. Fine. To allow transport of petroleum goods from Assam to Tripura through Bangladesh. Okay, completely fine. And after heavy monsoon damaged roads. Okay. Had made the transportation. We are talking about these roads had made. Okay, so that's why we are using past perfect, because this happened before this agreement was signed. Okay, so it is absolutely fine. That's why we are using had made the transportation between the two states difficult. So there is no error. The statement is absolutely fine. So the answer will be option 5, no error. Next one. Okay. So the next one is tech major IBM and IIT Bombay announced the opening of the first Open Power Research Facility ORPF in the institute to help drive further education, innovation and research with the country's national knowledge network. Okay. Now, this is a tricky one, okay, because it sounds absolutely and perfectly fine, but there is an error, okay, and the error is preposition related error. If you can find out the error, it would be great. Okay, let's read it once again. Tech major IBM and IIT Bombay announced. What did they announce? The opening of the first Open Power Research Facility, ORPF, in the institute to help. Okay, where did they? Yes, you are right, Shyam Sundar. Yes, you are right. The error is in the option 3, where it will not be in the institute. We are talking about where the research center has been established, and it has been established at the institute to help further drive education. Okay, when do we use in and when do we use at? We use in when we are talking about not a very precise location. When you zoom out, like you live in India, when the location is not, it's very vague. Okay, then we use in. On the other hand, when there's small places that you're talking about, or the precise location that you're talking about, you use at. Yes. So the right usage here will be at the institute to help drive. So this was very, it has been hiding sheepishly in the corner and you could not spot it. So please make sure that you are very, very aware of these preposition related error. Okay, so the error is in option 3. That will be let's move on to the next one. The final one, private lender ICICI Bank went live with a product that was showcased first at a startup competition, which allow customers to do banking transactions while using other application on mobile phone. This also looks absolutely fine, but there is an error. Okay, since we are discussing at, let's discuss it clearly. Yes, in big cities you say in, like, okay, let's say if I have to talk about my address, okay, so I will not be giving my right address, I will just be talking about an address because why. Okay, so let's say if I have to say I live, will I say in Bangalore or at Bangalore? Now Bangalore is very huge, so I can live anywhere, so I will say, I'll say in Bangalore. Okay, now in Bangalore, yes. Now let's go even more precise. If I have to say I stay in Ramurthy Nagar or at Ramurthy Nagar. Again, it is a very big location where I can live anywhere. It is not yet precise. It is not a small place. So I will again say in Ramurthy Nagar. But if I have to say I stay in First Cross Road, Ramurthy Nagar. Now I am giving you the street name and the number. Okay, when you become more precise, or if I live in an apartment, let's say Jagdish Enclave. If I have to say the apartment, or Rajya Sabha. I'm just giving you the name of. Let's consider any name of a house. Okay, so that time you will be using at. Even when you talk about petrol bunks, when you talk about restaurants, you use at the corner of the street. At the corner of the street, again something that is a very small place, corner of the street, at the petrol bunk, at the restaurant. Okay, so that's why it has to be at and not in. Okay, now coming back to the question that we were discussing, let's look at the question. Private lender ICICI Bank went live with a product that, okay, we are talking about a product that was showcased first at a startup competition which allow. Okay, we are talking about the product and it is singular, so why are we using this verb is not the verb that we use for singular subjects. Okay, so it should be not allow, it should be allows. So the error is in option 3. Okay, so Jay Murli has a question. Is it right to say I'm at home, or is it just I'm home? Okay, when you are talking about returning after a very long time, let's say you have gone abroad and you finally come home. That time you come home. I'm home. Okay. But when someone is asking you, where are you right now? Okay, so what do you say? I'm at home. Okay, so yes, at home is also right. I'm home is when is homecoming. Okay, so when you come back home after a long time, or when you announce your arrival, so you say I'm home, or mommy, I'm home, can you cook me something nice? Okay, or any of that sort. Okay, but if someone is asking you, where are you at? So you say I'm at home. I hope I have answered all the questions. So that is it. That is it for the session today. We will be winding up the session now. If you guys have any doubts, please flood in your doubts quickly, or just put it on the dashboard. Yes, when you return home, Sony answers in a very professional manner. When you return home, you say the later one. It should be the latter one. Okay. Very nice, Sony. Bravo.